much to be said about this particular week, the end of the annum, so to speak. There's the new year to look forward to and the new adventures with it, fresh frontiers to be conquered, fresh banquets I'll overindulge in. It's also the perfect time to look back on the year we've had, and if I say so myself, ours has been pretty great. True to our name, we've travelled just about everywhere. Matheran to Melbourne, from Coorg to Cape Town, and along the way we have eaten more than anyone should ever admit to. We've also been lucky enough to meet, greet and eat with some of the most exciting voices in the culinary world. And so today, that is what we're focusing. I guess you could call it our greatest hits for 2014 will travel for food style. Take, for example, our time in Australia. Visiting there is treat enough. Imagine what happens when you're lucky enough to get a personalized tour of Gary Mehigan. Yes, that's MasterChef Gary Mehigan, his favorite spots. How better to be introduced to the magic of Melbourne?
There's something very special about the city.
Yeah.
And even though it's sort of an American city in style,
right,
when you get into the streets, it's very European. So there's that old colonial,
yeah,
you know, that old early settler, that gold rush kind of era where there was money. And so they're narrow streets. And so in every little area has its pocket.
And one of his favorite pockets is clearly a marketplace.
So this is Paran Market. It's one of the institution markets in Melbourne. I think, you know, since the mid-1800s there's been markets here. And it's fantastic. Lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, great delis.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's all gosh, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a nice Christmas gift.
It
I
is.
don't need socks. I need zucchini flowers. Look at that. We're talking about what makes the produce special down here in Victoria, and I said, it's the dirt.
Yeah.
It's the dirt.
Nice, yeah.
And even better because things on MasterChef are in fact as happy and as friendly as they seem. A little surprise.
So I brought you to somebody that you may know, George's restaurant, okay,
Perfect.
Ghazi.
My happy bonus, I got two for the price of one, so to speak.
So I didn't think you would be here. I'm good.
A little reflection of an area called Ghazi in Greece. That's one of my favourite areas. My interpretation, I mean, would you find a soft shell crab souvlaki in Greece? Probably not.
I was going to say that by using something like the soft shell crab, it makes it Australian, doesn't it? Don't you think?
Totally, totally. I mean, this is Melbourne. What a tour guide! Like the best.
It doesn't get better.
It doesn't get better.
Oh, we could have had Matt Preston. He could have been. Nah.
Who's Matt Preston?
Exactly.
Never heard of him.
No. How's the girl supposed to recover from that? Well, perhaps with this. Yes, a food truck, but one with a difference. This was Bangkok-based chef Gagan Anand, he who is ranked number 3 on the list of Asia's 50 best. And he was putting the fun into fine dining. As for us, we were getting a ringside seat. And oh yes, did we mention that he had a very special colleague helping out?
This is India. This is 4 dishes of India which I learned from the street, and we give back to the street. So this is our version. This is our trial that whether they make sense to the Aam Janta. And then we have my friend who's been my biggest fan.
Here's what I want to ask. You are ready to take on what, sous chef duties today?
Any duties that he's willing to give. I really want to learn how to make these because I've been fascinated watching the process. Yeah. This is exactly the kind of stuff that I would like to know how to do.
Here's the important thing. If Imran is willing to be sous chef, are you willing to let him be your sous chef?
Absolutely, I'm more than honored. But I can't pay him, I can't afford him.
The food came up thick, fast and in a hurry. Imran matched the team spoon for spoon, and with such items as papri chaats, verifications, chocolate pani puri shots and dokla with coconut foam on offer, I can tell you that the crowd that came in couldn't get enough. Literally. They catered for the first 50 but managed to feed many more.
Without you, first 50 only. With the chocolate pani puri in the syringe. Sodium alginate bath. That's our dahi, papri chaat dahi. So the thing is that you got to put this in this, sit and put it in a spoon. That's the difficult part. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, he's doing quite well. Can we hire you in Gagan? Okay, you got to take one spoon. Don't drop the yogurt. Be very careful.
You guys realize, by the way, that your dahi explosions were created by Gagan but made by Imran? Is that amazing?
It is awesome. Gagan, smile.
First time a chef of Gagan's reputation had literally taken his food to the streets. And from the fun that was universally had, it was clear that this wouldn't be the last. Probably.
Okay, bye-bye.
Food is over. No more food.
Bye-bye.
In the meantime, saying hello to the capital for the very first time, Irish cooking queen Rachel Allen, who decided to dive in and hit the streets of Chandni Chowk. Brave woman she turned out to be. We are in Chandni Chowk. Dare I ask first impressions?
It's crazy, it's frenetic, it's noisy, it's busy, it's hot.
It's
very exciting.
Yeah?
Very exciting.
What she didn't know at the time was how much hotter it was going to get. And you know, she was a sport down to the ground with bedmis and with bhaduras.
That's amazing.
With her first bite of fresh jamun.
Oh! Oh! Oh, funny with the salt. I'm trying to think what it's like, but yeah. Oh.
With a greasy roti in the heart of Parathe Wale Gali.
They probably haven't changed in decades and decades. But that's fantastic. It's not being lost so quickly here as it is in so many other countries.
Even rain wasn't beyond her.
It's a particular texture.
Yeah.
And the flavor is amazing.
She says unconvincingly. You have to admit, she's got game. Another person extremely curious about the culinary scene, particularly the changing face of it, was the internationally renowned star of the New York scene, Chef Floyd Cardoz. After winning shows like Top Chef Masters and spending years taking the tastes of home to the West, on a trip to Goa, he wanted to know if the traffic was working both ways and if it was working well.
You know, for me, it's very important to be rooted in something.
Right.
You know, take the high-flying life you leave and the fast pace and come back and do a slow, laid-back, you know, enjoy life kind of thing.
So a quick whirl through Goa's pretty exhaustive scene, and happily he had brought an appetite with him. Floyd wanted to understand the sea change that the food scene had undergone, and so from sushi by Anjuna Beach to an enormous mud crab at Goa's most consistently busy tables, there was one thing he was looking for: those who used the beach's bounty in the best possible way.
This is incredibly sweet. It's got a lovely texture. Yeah. People, most chefs in India should be doing this. Going out and getting crab locally, getting beef locally.
Everything is local.
Making your goat milk is local is what's going to make the restaurants a lot better. Make the food taste so much better because it's so much fresher. This is very good.
But what he was also looking for and found was the ambitious and the playful. Local tastes, local flavors, local techniques given a distinctly international spin.
Aloo gobi, it's very clever, very traditional dish, and looked at it through a different lens. I feel if you go back to a happy place when you cook and do things, say this, that you remember as a child drinking, then look at it differently and make it what I call user-friendly.
And even as Floyd was enjoying his journey in reverse, another chef has been busy looking at Indian produce with fresh eyes. Toronto and Chicago-based chef Kelvin Cheung has not just spent the better part of 2 years setting Mumbai's diners on their ears. He also took us shopping because that, he says, is where he was able to gain the greatest understanding of his new city.
It's funny because as a separate entity, it actually defines what the city is.
Yeah.
It gives you the fight of everyone clamoring to get just make a life.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to fight your way through it. You have to push your way through it.
Right.
But then you also see glimmers of what makes the city so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see fresh fish coming out of the water.
Yeah.
You'll see piles and piles of these beautiful like gold gem-like shrimps and
Yeah.
the smells. It adds it all together, and it kind of just shows you what the city is about.
What we learned was how he used that to create one of the city's more exciting menus, one where you can find the simple drumstick used in new and unusual ways, mangoes treated the same. A meal there can be a wild ride, but it turns out it's nothing compared to his adventures on arrival.
I can already tell, after we're done and through with all this will probably turn out to be one of the greatest books, bibliographies, biographies kind of thing. Like it's gonna be a wild book. Just the whole process of coming in, tearing everything apart, rebuilding, revamping, this whole roller coaster of coming in and out. It's going to be a pretty fun book.
Yeah, I hope the publishers are paying attention. Has someone signed you yet? Because
Not yet.
that, folks, is one to look out for. In the meantime, Chef Manu Chandra, formerly of Delhi and New York, has been doing more than his part to put Bengaluru on the culinary map, and he spent a day showing us why it deserves it.
In my opinion, I think it's one of the most exciting food cities. Right. Unfortunately, it's never got its due because Delhi and Bombay have always hogged, the lion's share of the limelight.
He showed us the greatness of the old and often unsung at a tiny idli shop in old Bangalore. He took us to the brilliant offerings at the city's institution for Andhra food, Nagarjuna's.
There is something about big flavors that the brain registers very quickly.
And he showed us why his own menu, though so different, feeds off his cities.
So inspiration comes from the strangest places sometimes. As a chef, I always wanted to see myself, in a place where you basically, you can run on air, because as long as it's there, you're constantly coming up with something new.
All in all, many lessons to be learned. The first and most universal is perhaps that produce is king. The second is perhaps that using local is the only way to go global. And the third is there might be no better time to eat your way across the country. And that means, folks, the 2015's looking good before it's even got off the ground.